Hi guys, welcome to Pagupaiva channel. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic called hypothesis testing. It is a very useful statistical concept, even it is covered as a part of Six Sigma certification. What is null hypothesis testing? It is a method to validate your assumption. Just think about if you're buying 100 grams of biscuit. So it is a belief or assumption that the weight is mentioned over the packet as 100 grams. So we believe that the weight of the biscuit is 100 gram. Have we validated any time? Of course not. But just think about if you are collecting some samples and if you are taking the weight and you can find that exactly 100 gram, I would say it may not be possible. So there will be some plus or minus deviation will be there. So if you are validating that assumption with the sample, so because if you are taking a particular brand biscuit of 100 gram, you can't able to measure the weight of each and every packet. You have to take some sample and you have to measure the weight, do some mean and everything, then you have to validate it. For that validating method is the hypothesis testing. Here, in this case, there are two hypotheses. One is null hypothesis, the other one is alternate hypothesis. Whatever the belief or the assumption, you can see here in this case, the biscuit packet is 100 grams. The null hypothesis, how we will formulate here, it will be the weight of the biscuit packet is equal to 100 gram. The alternate hypothesis, what it will say, it is not equal to 100 grams. So it will say it can be higher than 100 gram or lesser than 100 gram, greater or lesser. So there can be some concept that as a customer, what you would be believe, you want at least 100 gram. So in that case, what your null hypothesis will be, I want greater than or equal to 100 gram. But as a manufacturer, it has to be 100 gram, but it should not go higher than 100 gram. So if it goes above 100 gram, then obviously the manufacturing cost will increase. And they also will be very conscious, it should not go less than 100 gram. But still they feel that it should be less than or equal to 100 gram. So in that alternate hypothesis will be opposite to that. If you say if it is greater than or equal to, then alternate will be less than. So here at the end of your hypothesis testing, there are only two possibilities. Either you have to reject the null hypothesis or fail to reject null hypothesis. If you fail to reject null hypothesis, it does not mean that the null hypothesis is true. This one concept which you should remember. And then this is a small table which has been created to show the decision and whatever the reality, the decision at the end of the null hypothesis, whatever we are taking and whatever the reality. So here the reality is true, which is the null hypothesis should not be rejected. And here this is, we should reject null hypothesis. But instead of not reject, if we reject, then this will become type 1 error. If it is correctly rejected, then there is no error. Similarly, if we fail to reject and we should not reject, then again correct rejection. But the null hypothesis should be rejected, but if we fail to reject, then it becomes type 2 error. So this, regarding this, we will see you, we will explain you further, but the alpha, whatever it is, also known as the p-value, which is also the level of significance. in statistics. So here after conducting the null hypothesis, there is one thing, the alpha value generally we are considering as 0.05. That means the 95% confidence level, we are allowing an error, which is the type 1 error of 5%. So that is the significance level. So we are allowing 0.05, which means 5% error is acceptable. 95% confidence level is required. So if you are considering 95% confidence level, then the alpha value will be 0.05. If the p-value is whatever at the end of the hypothesis test, we will get a p-value. If it is less than or equal to alpha, then we have to reject the null hypothesis. And another two things what we have to know about is the confidence level, which I have told you, 1 minus alpha, which is the confidence level. Here in this case, it is the 95%. And another one thing is the beta is the type 2 error. 1 minus beta is the power of the test. So it is generally, if we want to have a better validity of the hypothesis test, the power of the test has to be greater than or equal to 0.8. So now we will go ahead little, if you want a better idea, Google it and try to understand the theoretical concept. Now I will go ahead with the one of the case. Let us assume that the average salary of 5 years experienced person in India is rupees 60,000 per month. This is an assumption. So which means the null hypothesis is nothing but, you can see H0 is average salary is equal to 60,000. What about the alternate? Alternate will be average salary is not equal to 60,000. So these are the two hypotheses. Now we are going to conduct test and we are going to validate this hypothesis, whether whatever the assumption, whatever the null hypothesis we have taken, whether it is valid or not. So for that, we are going to import pandas and NumPy. And there is some sample. Sample is you can ask someone and you are mentioning their salary. And you are creating that as an array. So this is, so some people you can go and ask whose experience is around 5%, and you are making the data available, which is the sample, because you can't ask everyone who is 5 years experience across India. You have to fix a sample size and you have to decide, right? So this is the sample values of salary of each person is considered. And once you execute, you will get, there are 30 people, 30 samples you have taken. So from 30 people, you have asked their salary. The mean salary, once you execute the T code salary is the array name salary.mean. So it is the average is 63,000. In general, what we will do, 60,000, 63,000 is the mean based on sample. You can say it is not equal, but you can't decide whether this 63,000, this is only for the sample, whether for the whole population it is applicable or not. Then we have to do hypothesis testing. How we can do? So here the sample size is 30. So we will be conducting t-test. So in general, we have to conduct t-test only if the sample size is less than 30. But here in this case, it is 30. So we actually has to do z-test. But for considering z-test, we will require the standard deviation of population. But we actually don't know. So 5 years experience, professional salaries, standard deviation, we don't know. So since we don't know the standard deviation, so we are going to conduct t-test. So for that, you have to import scipy.stats is the package. We are giving a short name STATS. So import that package, and the next T code, what you have to run is stats is this short form of scipy.stats dot t-test underscore one sample. So right now I'm going to explain you about one sample t-test, because the reason is we have taken only one sample across the whole population of India whose professional experience is 5 years. So I have taken only one sample. So that's why t-test underscore one sample t-test. A is nothing but the array, whatever the data which you want to conduct the t-test, salary is the array. Then the population mean. Here the population mean is, it is not the mean 63 to 66. Here it is the assumption. 63,266 is the sample mean. Here the requirement is the population mean. So 60,000 is the population mean. And you run this code, we are getting a p-value, this one. So p-value is greater than 0.05. So as already explained, p-value, if p-value is greater than 0.05, then we can't reject null hypothesis. So null hypothesis is valid, but it's not true. We can't be assured, but it's valid. You can say, just is as a generic statement that yes, the salary of 5 years experienced in India is 60,000. So above one is two-tail test, because the reason is simple. So either way, if you can see, you are going to say it as the alternate is not equal to. The alternate can tell that it is less than 60,000 or greater than 60,000. So both the sides are acceptable in null hypothesis. In case if I said the condition as 5 years employee's salary is greater than or equal to rupees 60,000 in India. So I have taken only one side. So less than goes to the alternate hypothesis. So I am taking only completely one side. So it will become a one-tailed t-test. So for calculating the p-value here, whatever it will remain same, only you have to divide this by 2. It will give the p-value of one-tailed t-test. So if you are conducting a t-test for one-tail requirement, in case, as I said, if the null hypothesis is salary of 5 years experience employee is greater than or equal to rupees 60,000 in India, one-tail t-test is applicable. So then we will divide it and we are going to calculate. So we have considered only the statistical significance here. So whatever the type 1 error, alpha is what we have considered. But have we checked the type 2 error? So for that, we have to use power analysis. So in general, we have already said that we require a power of 0.8, statistical power is nothing but the probability that the given experiment correctly rejects the null hypothesis when alternate hypothesis is true. So here, why we conduct the power analysis is, here the sample what we have taken is 30 numbers. Whether the 30 numbers is enough to take a decision on whole population. So that verification will happen in power analysis. Here there is 3 parameters is required. One is the effect size, the other one is the alpha and the power. Alpha already we have explained you, which is the type 1 error or the level of significance, 0.05 here. Power is again, which is already we have, which is the type 2 error. Sorry, 1 minus type 2 error, 1 minus beta is the power. So which we require above 0.8. Then effect size is something new. Effect size is here, when you consider the alpha, it talks only about the samples. So but effect size is actually shows the difference between two groups. It is the way to quantify the difference between two groups. Here one group is the whole population, the other group is your sample. So 0.5 is the medium effect size. So you are keeping a difference. If you want to keep a medium difference between your sample size and population, then you can take 0.5. If you want to have a considerable difference between two groups, which is your sample and population, then you can consider in general as 0.8. If you keep it as 0.2, then it is you want to keep as close as possible between your sample and your population. You want to keep the difference as minimum as possible. So effect size talks about the difference between the two groups. So right now I am considering 0.5 as my effect size, and alpha I want a 95% confidence level. So alpha remains same as 0.05, and power already minimum we require 0.8, that also I am capturing. For this, I am just importing only one command, t-test in power, that is available in package statsmodel.stats.power. So from statsmodel.stats.power, import t-test ind power is the command. So here effect, alpha and everything I am assigning the respective values. So p underscore analysis is nothing but the power analysis. So is equal to t-test in power. So I am executing this command. Then I'm mentioning whatever the command I have executed here, power analysis, p underscore analysis dot solve underscore power, within bracket we have to give the first one is effect size. Effect size is nothing but, you can directly give 0.5 also, but fine, effect size we have already given name, so we are mentioning alpha. You can mention directly 0.05, power also you can mention 0.8 directly also. So once you execute this command, you are getting 63, which means around 64. So if you want the power of this hypothesis testing has to be 0.8, then at least you should have selected a sample of 64 numbers. With the effect size here, there is a only medium difference if you want to keep. But if I say I want to keep the difference between the two groups as minimum as possible, if you execute, then you can see at least 393, 394 samples are required. which means you can say this 30 number of samples, whatever we have taken for this analysis, is not enough. So after conducting hypothesis testing, it is very, very important whether the power which is required 0.8, considering that whether the sample size, whatever you are taking, is enough to conclude and decide on the hypothesis testing output. So here in this video, we have shown you only about one sample t-test. There is much more thing like two sample t-test, pair test, and all that in under hypothesis testing itself. Those things we will cover in our upcoming videos. So keep on watching our videos, do subscribe our channels, share with your friends, and like this video. If you have any queries, please put it in comment sections. And if you want us to post any new videos, please mention that also in comments. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.